Hello, everyone. Nice to have you with us. Tell me, please, have you ever wondered how to turn WhatsApp into your ultimate retail tool to increase your sales? Probably you did that. And that's the topic that we will discuss today, and we will explore it really deeply. But before we do that, let me give you some important information. First, you are listening Retail Talks. This is the live show that we are running each couple of weeks in order to dive deep into the trends, concepts, tools, innovations, and so on that are shaping the retail world, especially the technology part. My name is Darko Pavic. I'm CEO of the company Fiscal Solutions, and I will be your host today. In today's episode, we will going deep into the detail about WhatsApp and WhatsApp and how did WhatsApp actually evaluated into the direction of the business tool and the marketing tool that it is today, because it's much more than just a messaging tool. That's what I learned at least during my preparations. Okay, so if you want to boost your sales or if you want to improve your customer loyalty and customer engagement, I think today's session will be very, very interesting for you. Today, I have a great guest with me. It's Mitul. Mitul is CEO of the company called Revive. It's a German company based in Berlin. And those guys are focusing on the software to help you to, let's say, increase your sales at the end through the very smart and innovative ways of the customer loyalty. They focus on e-receipt and use the e-receipt to increase your sales at the end. Mitul, welcome.
Thank you, Darko. Very nice to be here.
Mitul is not the new for us and for our audience. It's already second show that we have together. But there are probably some of you that don't know Mitul. So Mitul, could I ask you please to introduce yourself?
Absolutely, my pleasure. Hi, everyone. My name is Mitul. As Darko already mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Revive. And we started Revive after, I spent around a bit more than a decade in retail, seeing how the gap between what retailers could do online and what they could do with their in-store customers was always growing, right? So in the online world, from the moment you land on the website through checkout, everything can be personalized. A lot of data is collected about the customer, and it's easier to engage with the customer after they leave. In the physical store, that's a challenge. And so that's the problem we try to solve as a whole through various channels and ways, one of them being digital receipts, but increasingly around providing not just the data and insight about customers to the merchants, but also the tools needed to stay in touch with those customers after they leave. And in that context, what we've been seeing with our customers is that WhatsApp is really having a very strong moment right now. And so I'm very excited to share some of those experiences today, all the way from how you can get started with WhatsApp, what are the pitfalls, what are the opportunities, and what sort of is the holy grail of getting it right, and why I think every retailer should be doing WhatsApp going forward. So thanks for having me here, Darko, today. Excited to share these ideas.
It's my huge pleasure because it's always interesting to talk to you because you have so innovative and great ideas. But help me, as a more or less Croatian German guy, I'm not really sure how to pronounce WhatsApp. Is it WhatsApp or WhatsApp?
That's a good question. And I think in each country, there's its own pronunciation of it. I guess given it's originally an American company, they probably intended it for it to be WhatsApp, but it's a play on the expression "what's up." So I guess you could go with both, as long as the person on the other side knows what you're talking about. I don't think it matters.
Great, because otherwise I was always thinking, oh God, how to sell it, how to tell it, is it that, this or that? Fine, so nobody cares at the end if everybody understands what we are talking about. Okay, so we are talking about messaging tool used since a couple of years, owned by Meta actually, and I'm using it heavily. Let's say in my family, we have even family group, and then we are exchanging the information. That's why it will be even more interesting for me to learn how to use it in the business environment, because as of yesterday or till yesterday, I was just using it to send a message to my daughter, where are you, when are you coming home, or something like that, So, but before we go deep into the details, let me give the audience just a couple of interesting information. We are streaming today on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X as a video, but we have also something very special. We are streaming also just audio on X Space. And we did that because we want to create opportunity for you, the audience, to join the discussion. So this means if you want to share with us your opinion, or if you want to ask us something directly live in the stream, feel free to go to X to join the space and you can be part of it. This is this over there, over there. This over there is our account on X, and we are streaming audio as well over that account. So please join us if you like. Otherwise, just comment on any of those platforms, and we will grab the questions and we will do our best, of course, to answer them. Okay, so let's start talking a little bit more about WhatsApp. I want to give you my view about WhatsApp at the beginning. So I am using it in a private way. I just explained it. But a couple of months ago, let's say, I saw lots of companies on a different trade shows, including Eurosys, or this was Euroshop, I think, last time, including RRF and so on. There are lots of companies now over there creating the tools around WhatsApp to do something more than just messaging daughter to ask her something. So by that, I already had the impression that something is going on in the world of WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp is somehow faring to something more. It's becoming something else, not just a private messaging tool. Maybe business environment, maybe business communication platforms. Please explain us what's going on in the world of WhatsApp.
Sure. So let's take one step back, right? And if you think of communication channels in general, in the mobile world, you think of SMS. In the digital world, you think of email. Those are sort of your first communication channels in both those medium. And it always starts as a way for people to communicate with each other. And then over time, it becomes also an opportunity for businesses to communicate with their customers, right? And that's essentially the same shift that's happening in WhatsApp as well. Unlike email and SMS, there's an underlying business motivation for that to happen as well, which is the fact that Meta bought WhatsApp, maybe almost a decade ago now. And until very recently, the focus was only on growing it, growing the network, growing the number of users, but not on monetizing it. Eventually, Meta being a publicly traded company with commercial interests, it was clear that at some point there would be a strategy to monetize WhatsApp. Monetizing it towards end users is a tricky situation because you don't want to charge Darko for messaging his daughter to check where she is. But when you have this huge network and access to all of these people, and you're seeing usage rates that you see on WhatsApp, right? So if you look at your own screen time, the average person is probably spending anything between 1 or 2 hours a day on WhatsApp at the moment, communicating with people. All of a sudden, you have a brilliant opportunity to give businesses a way to reach their customers who choose to be spoken to in a direct way, directly in their WhatsApp inbox, right? And do that in a way that's more effective than email, because if you think of your email inbox right now, rest in peace, right? It's basically filled with newsletters, it's filled with communications, notifications, etc., etc. And the problem with that is it doesn't thread well. When I say it doesn't thread well, I mean to say if I get an email from Amazon, I'm getting 50 different emails for each delivery, a newsletter, this and that. So there's a huge mess of emails. It's very hard for me to find things. And so emails have been struggling on a conversion side. SMS, on the other hand, is expensive. It's not rich, so you can only put text and maybe a link. There's a limit to how interactive you can make it. So WhatsApp almost gives brands and businesses a best of both worlds, right? I can have direct one-to-one communication with my customer, unlike something like X, formerly known as Twitter, where I can put information out, but I don't know if it's reaching the target customer I want it to reach. So I can be direct, I can be relevant, and I can do it in a way that's visually appealing, that's interactive, but also in a way where, from a customer's perspective, their history with me is all available in one place for them, right? So if I purchase something from your brand, if I ordered something online, I got it in store, if you sent me a promotion, I have my entire engagement with you as a brand in one place. And that's great also from a customer's perspective, right? So from a business side, higher deliverability, you're much more sure you're reaching the actual person. You're not hoping that it didn't end up in spam. It's very clear channel. You're not competing with a whole bunch of utility messages like an SMS, and you have a very interactive, rich visual experience that you can give to your customers. And from a customer's perspective, everything's in one place. It's clean, it's simple. If I don't want to engage with the retailer anymore, I can just block them. I don't have to sit and unsubscribe to 10 different types of emails and newsletters. It's a much cleaner, easier experience. So I went a bit into why it became a channel, from why it became a channel into what the benefits are. But I think it's important to understand that it's not just that it became a channel for businesses because Meta woke up one day and decided, let's monetize WhatsApp. It's because it's actually a very good opportunity as well for businesses and customers.
Yeah. So this sounds already very interesting, and I was, to be honest, very surprised as I saw how some other people, especially my family, for example, my wife, are using WhatsApp. She is, for example, using it as a social network. She don't have any more Facebook. She don't use Instagram at all, and all other social networks as well. But she's using WhatsApp. And then I asked her, "Why are you using actually WhatsApp?" And by the way, she is just publishing pictures, photos, in the status. And this is the only way how she is using it, nothing else. And of course, internally in the family to communicate or with her friends. But she is publishing, if we are traveling somewhere, she is publishing photos, pictures as a status. And by that, she is initiating communication with the friends. And then I ask her, why are you doing that? Because you could use Instagram or you could use Facebook or whatever. And she told me she wants to control the group of the people that are part of her social network. She told me this is the true social network because I created it just with the people, or she created, of course, just with the people that she knows. And this was like a click for me. Okay, so it's not messaging tool anymore. It's now even social network. And if I combine that with everything you just said, then it's getting a very powerful marketing in a business environment as well, right?
Absolutely. And to take it a step further, we don't see those features yet in Europe because of various regulations and business decisions by Meta as well. But if you look at WhatsApp in other geographies, take Brazil, take India, it's already going a step further, right? You can do payments via WhatsApp. So if I went out for a drink with you, Darko, in Hamburg on the Schanze, and I need to send you 20 euros, if I have you in WhatsApp, I can just do that directly within WhatsApp. I don't need to go into a banking app. I don't need to go into PayPal and do that. Payments are in WhatsApp now in many geographies. Meta has included Meta AI into WhatsApp as well. And they're giving tools to brands to also basically set up stores inside WhatsApp, right? So, depending on where you are, WhatsApp has already gone from being just a messaging app to a super app of sorts. And I think that's only going to go further than that. And if you want to see where that can end up, you have some very good examples in China with the likes of WeChat and
Yes.
Alipay and so on and so forth, where you have sort of this super app that's a payment tool, that's a social network, that's a communication channel, that's a shop, and that's sort of a place where you as a user do all of the above in one single location, right? And for the likes of you and me who are techies, we enjoy spending time on 20 different platforms, seeing how they work, doing things over there, something on X, something on LinkedIn, etc. But I think the example you gave is perfect, right? Someone like your wife or my wife or people we know who don't want to spend all their time in 10 different channels. For
Right.
them, and I can include my mother in that, for example, all of her time is spent inside WhatsApp. Whether it's communicating with her children who live abroad, whether it's finding funny videos and things that friends send her, or even more now, just buying things from people. So a lot of peer-to-peer commerce is happening within WhatsApp as well. And I think what that does is it creates the fertile ground also for businesses who are able to use it in a smart way to reach those people where they are, instead of trying to pull them into channels where they're never going to go.
This is so huge. So you mentioned just WeChat. as I was in China, I was enjoying to use it. Even I love lots of different applications, but it was very easy for me. I didn't even need my money in cash or something else. It was totally enough to have the phone with you, and you could pay everything, and you can access everything, you can order everything. So it's a really, really great idea of super app. So I hope WeChat or other apps could become that, because it's making the life easier for all of us. But let's come back to the business environment. So we just identified that something is changing. WhatsApp is becoming very interesting platform, much more than just a private messaging environment. Give us kind of overview about the capabilities of WhatsApp. What can I do as a business with WhatsApp?
Yeah, definitely. So, if you think of WhatsApp, right, and we stick for the moment with the messaging part without going into a lot of those advanced capabilities around commerce and storefronts, etc. Just stick with messaging. Um, some of the most basic use cases that businesses are starting with WhatsApp is just transactional information, right? If I ordered something from your brand, or I, went to the store and purchased something, send me your receipt. Send me my receipt via WhatsApp. Send me my order confirmation via WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. So WhatsApp has basically created a set of types of messages that businesses can use. You have your utility messages, you have security messages. So basically, when you're sending a one-time password or something like that, you have marketing messages, and you have support conversations, right? And that model keeps evolving, but that gives you an idea of the very basic set of use cases you can cover. So one, I want to give you utility information. Here's your order information, here's your receipt. I want to give you marketing messages. There's a new campaign, there's new promotions, there's new products. I want to do some support work. So as a customer, I can basically take that order notification and reply saying, where is my order, right? And as a brand, I can now either automatically, there are tools for that now, or with a human in between, respond with some information and give you support to your product, right? Without you as a customer having to leave that channel. And so those are sort of the initial possibilities, where I can basically then even shoot out. If you take supermarkets, for example, in Germany, they print a weekly catalog of what's going to be on offer in your neighborhood supermarket. That's a great use case to send over WhatsApp. I digitally receive that. I can flip through that and say, okay, this week, my favorite cheese is 20% off, so I'm going to go buy that in the supermarket. And then, of course, automated campaigns around more personalized messaging. So a customer hasn't been to the store in 6 weeks. I want to send them a campaign. It's a customer's birthday. I want to send them a campaign. I want to send some sort of an away message, right? Customer wants to know, is my store open today, for example? I can quickly, give them a message back saying, sorry, the store is closed today. We're back open on Monday, right? So if you think of smaller businesses, that's a powerful set of capabilities. And basically what you're now able to do as a business is use messages with images, with links to different products, links to external websites, to send customers information, to ask them for information, and then to put them through different journeys based on what you want to achieve with them. If you want to upsell them, if you want to retain them, or if you just want to give them basic information about what they've done with you as a business. And that's
But
already a huge starting point for most retailers who are currently trying to do that to some extent using the CRM and email, but it just doesn't work as well.
But help me, please, from the technical point of view to understand it a little bit more, because I remember a company called Retec in Italy. This is Italian company doing lots of great things around the retail, but they did also something interesting in the related to the WeChat. And now, because you compare it, I would like to take this example to ask you next question. So they took the WeChat and they programmed special, let's say, content providing app within the WeChat for the Chinese people arriving in Italy. So this means as soon as they arrive in Italy, they get the messages from this kind of application through the provider, whatever, I'm not sure who was the provider. And they got the messages like, if you want to do this in Italy or that, you can do it like this, or you can find a taxi like that. And so very helpful information for them. But in order to do that, you need, of course, kind of technical infrastructure. You have to be able to access kind of APIs or whatever. I'm not sure if WhatsApp providing that. Are we able as a technical companies to access those APIs? Are they open?
Yeah, it's a bit more nuanced with WhatsApp. So WhatsApp offers a WhatsApp for Business API that technically is available to everyone who has a WhatsApp for Business account. So let's start there, right? First, you can't do this stuff with just a normal WhatsApp account. So you can't just create a phone number and say, okay, this is now the Fiscal Solutions WhatsApp. You have to create a WhatsApp for Business account with Meta. Step 2, you then need to get API access to that. But more importantly, step 3, you need a tool through which you can operate that. So WhatsApp has said we stop at step 2. We provide you an account, a verified account, and we provide you a number. And that verified account, you can just use your phone and message from. That's no problem. But if you want to do any of the more sophisticated stuff that I've described, right, where you connect it to your e-commerce, you connect it to your POS, you connect it to your marketing channels, etc., there you need to use the WhatsApp for Business API. And over there, as a merchant, you now have a few possibilities. You can use an existing CRM system that maybe supports WhatsApp as a channel and connect your WhatsApp for Business account to that and run campaigns through that, depending on the capabilities. You can use dedicated tools that are specifically for WhatsApp marketing that are out there in the market. There's quite a few out there now. Or depending again on your context, you can use something like what we offer at Re5, where we don't only give you a way to interact with your customers through WhatsApp, but also take care of how do I get the contact details of my customer in there at all, and how do I tie that to my, in our case specifically, point of sale and the purchases happening over there, but also to the e-commerce, right? So as a business, those are your kind of 3 possibilities. Use a standalone tool, use an existing CRM, or use a business specific. So for retail, you have a solution like us. For a hair salon, you might have a different solution out there that are built for your business because they are thinking about how your business works, offering solutions that are designed for your business, right? So what you don't want to have to do is sit and create campaigns for retention, campaigns for upselling, etc., from scratch, right? In a solution like ours, we offer default campaigns out of the box, and you can use that to then immediately trigger your customers with those campaigns with some small changes, maybe uploading an image, tweaking the text a little bit. So it gives you the velocity to do that really quickly. But it starts even one step before that, which is the challenge of, okay, how do I get my customers into my WhatsApp channel? And we say, well, the best moment to do that is when they're buying something from you. And for that, we use our digital receipts as a way to pull the customer into the WhatsApp journey.
I think this is a very smart idea because actually through management of e-receipt, you are offering customer something which is really value for the customer. And in return, you are expecting, of course, phone number in order to be able to manage it till the end if the customer wants that. If customer don't want that, he don't need to do that. So there is no pressure on the customer side that they have to do it. So I like this idea because it's additional option and by that additional value for the end user. So it's the way how it should work. But this was very valuable that you just shared with us, because I think my first thought as I was preparing this retail talk was how to do it actually, because in order to send the messages, it cannot be the way to have people which are selecting the phone numbers and sending the messages. This sometimes maybe it looks good, but it's definitely not, because it has to be part of your process, whatever the process is, maybe sales process or customer loyalty process or whatever. And I think this is the huge benefit that your application and other applications which are already integrated somehow with WhatsApp are offering, because they are covering the complete process and not just to send a message to somebody, as I thought in the beginning. Yeah, but I see one big advantage of, not just one, lots of big advantages, but also something where I think it could be a challenge. We mentioned it, both of us, that the customers have to share the phone number in order to get the benefits, let's say, which are behind. Let me give you a view what I think actually. I used to live in Dubai for a couple of years, and in Dubai everything is organized around the phone number. So this means if you are going to the government, you identify yourself by your phone number of your mobile phone, of course. if you are buying something and you want a warranty or whatever, they're not asking for your ID, they're asking for your phone number. And actually, or if you're going to the doctor, you provide your phone number. So this means the ID in that part of the world is actually the number of your mobile phone. And as I moved there, it was a very strange topic for me. So why should I give my private number to everyone? But already after a couple of weeks, it was really beneficial for me because the systems were connected with each other and it was really easy. I didn't need any kind of paper in my pocket like IDs or whatever. My phone was enough. And this was really nice. But then we moved back to Germany. And in Germany, the phone number is something like, wholly private, something what to considered as a very private, and nobody wants to give you the phone number, especially not third party that you don't know, like, retailers or whatever. So I see some challenges to change this kind of mindset. What do you think about that issue?
Yeah. So, I think you raise a very important point, right? Which is, in order for WhatsApp to work, at some point, we have to go from people thinking of, let's say, their email address, which is right now the common identifier that people use to identify themselves to companies and digital services, to being okay to do that with their phone number. This is something that's already happened in a lot of countries, in a lot of geographies. In the North America, it's pretty common. In South America, Middle East, India, Southeast Asia, using a phone number as an identifier has become a common thing. Europe tends to lag behind these changes. And you saw that also in the payment space, right? There was a slower adoption of credit card payments. In Germany, you'll still find a lot of businesses that don't want to accept card payments and a lot of individuals that prefer to use cash. So one part is mindset. But the other thing I also think about is utility, right? So if you think of QR codes, for example, which we in our product use quite a lot, before the pandemic, QR codes in Europe were very rare, right? And even if you saw them, people were not familiar with how to use them. They were not that common. Now you can go to most restaurants and you'll find a QR code menu on the table, or you might use it for payment, and that shift happens. I see a similar, and that was driven by the need, the utility that happened during the pandemic. And I see something similar happening with phone numbers now, which is being driven by the need and utility of second factor authentication, right? So regulation in Europe forced banks and a lot of other businesses to require customers to have a second factor to identify themselves, to prevent fraud and theft. And that's often the mobile number. So you'll get a single use code by SMS, and you use that to confirm that you are the one logging into the account for the bank, let's say, or for some other sensitive transactions. And so I think with that, what starts to happen is people's threshold for that goes down a little bit. And then if you think about commerce now and retail specifically, already you are quite used to putting your number in when you're doing an e-com checkout, let's say. Why? Because there's always a reason tied to it, right? In the end, I think customers are pragmatic people. And if you give them a reason why you're asking them for something, they are very likely to share it with you. If you just tell them, give me your phone number so I can market to you, you'll get 0 phone numbers. But if you think of commerce, usually in an e-com checkout, you'll get a message saying, please add your phone number so that at the time of delivery, if there are any issues, we can contact you. As a rational, pragmatic person, I think that makes sense. If the person is trying to drop my package and he can't find my phone, my door number or something, it's okay that he calls me and finds out that information. Now that's step one of getting the contact details. What we do is we do the same thing in store via the receipt. You get your receipt in your browser. If you want to store it for later, we say, hey, you can click this button, get it into WhatsApp, get your receipt in there, and in the backside, the merchant gets the phone number. The second thing we also need to consider is in Europe, you're anyways more protected because of GDPR. So it's one thing to give you my number for transactional purposes. That doesn't mean you have the right to market to me directly, right? So customers also will have to be made aware that by sharing their number, they're not directly opening the door to a bunch of spam calls and messages, because legally that's not even a possibility in Europe. And so I think while we may not be yet there today, we do see a change happening. We know this from customers we work with in the supermarket space, for example, that they see very high conversions on customers being willing to receive the weekly catalog via WhatsApp, right? It's something they're used to getting in their post box once a week. And now they're just retrained to expect that in their WhatsApp inbox instead of in their physical inbox. And so I think we're going to see a shift slowly over time. I think we can expedite that by giving merchants smart tools to collect that data. And it has to be done in a healthy way where you're not actually bothering customers in any way. And you're respecting all the GDPR and the legal requirements around that. But I think, just like with all other innovations, Europe takes maybe 4 or 5 years behind everyone else to pick them up. We're going to see the same thing happening here in the next 24 to 36 months.
Yeah, but I have to confirm that, because in the beginning I was really afraid, and my family as well, that we will get the millions of SMSs or WhatsApps or whatever just to sell us something, and that it will be so huge, but it was not at all. So I'm still using the same phone number, and I'm getting some of the messages, but only if I arrive again in Dubai. Then they send me something, and I want to have that, because mostly are very useful information for me. So I still can filter what I want and what I don't want. So I can refuse certain information. I can unsubscribe. So it's not like that if you give your number that now that's it, you will get millions of messages every second. It's not like that. And you are totally right. The consumers in Western world have to learn that it's not that bad to do that, and that it's just beneficial for you at the end. Like WeChat and Chinese people which are arriving in Europe and they want to see something nice in Italy. So it's good. Fine, but let's continue with this topic a little bit. Tell me, what should retailers or everybody who is implementing something with WhatsApp avoid? Because one of those things is this fear that we just discussed a little bit. What should we avoid?
So if you remember the Spider-Man movie, right, where there's this expression, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's good,
And I
yes.
think of that in this context, right? Someone has entrusted you with a fairly private access into their life, something they're using all the time, where they're communicating with their family. And so it's important that you take that responsibility seriously. And just as it's a power and responsibility, it's also an opportunity. So what I'm getting at is, today, if you look at email newsletters, for example, or email campaigns that brands and retailers send out, they tend to be a lot of one size fits all. Let's spray and pray. Let's tell everyone about whatever we have in the collection next month, or what sale we have, etc. They're not very personalized. And that's partly because sometimes you don't actually know who's behind those email addresses, right? I can just go to a brand's website and sign up for the newsletter. I think in the case of WhatsApp, you have a unique opportunity of actually giving people very relevant and personalized messaging, and doing that in a way that's tied to their behavior with your brand, right? So, okay, I may subscribe to you on WhatsApp to get general information, but if you've gotten my WhatsApp details through a digital receipt, through an online transaction, then you have context about who I am, what I like, what I want. And it's almost a responsibility to use that in a personalized way, because also that's going to get you the most possible outcome, right? Let's not forget that part. People don't want to. I don't want to get campaigns about baby products when I don't have any kids, right? I don't want to get campaign about clothes for women, because I'm just looking at buying for myself from the specific brand, and so on and so forth. So I think, and those are just the very basic examples, right? You can go into style, you can go into color. If you go into the supermarket space, you can go into dietary preferences and so on and so forth. But the point is, if the customer is giving you their data, giving you a look into their world and how they behave and what they want, and giving you access into their WhatsApp inbox, you have the responsibility as a brand and the opportunity to use that in a very personalized way. And that guarantees you two things. One, the customer will stick around. And two, that's actually what's going to really drive the top line, right? Because with relevance comes increase in conversion. With increase in conversion comes increase in basket size. And with that, at the end comes your revenue and profitability as a retailer or a brand. So I think avoiding spamming, avoiding one-size-fits-all messaging, being sensitive to the time of day of the customer, right? Again, because I know your phone number, I know, okay, it's a German number. I shouldn't be messaging you at 3 in the night in Germany. That's probably not what you want to be getting. So you suddenly have a lot more insight into the user, and you need to respect that and use that in smart ways to maximize the value for the user and for you as a business. Right? So I think that's one thing that's very important in order to get WhatsApp right, which, because the tools were missing in the past, because the understanding, the data was missing in the past, a lot of brands did badly with the email channel, and now they're tied in those habits. But in WhatsApp, you don't have that chance. People will immediately block you if you're not doing it properly.
Yeah, this is exactly what I meant with the offerings that I'm getting if I arrive to Dubai. So they don't send me offerings if I am in Germany. It doesn't make sense. So this means these guys are using smart tools and they are thinking about how to use it. So this is actually what you just explained. It's absolutely on point. So think twice before you do something, and then have a clear target. And why not? Let's say it like that. At the end, then it's okay to give your number. Why not? Very nice. So I know that you are, let's say, very innovative in the Re5 and your team, because I know that you are handling the e-receipt a little bit different than everybody else on the market. Usually in the market, the companies are getting the e-receipt, and now what? Now they are putting it somewhere in the storage, and if the consumer wants to see it, they can. But it's much bigger issue behind the e-receipt, like, for example, sending it to WhatsApp. But I know that you can do lots of more stuff with the e-receipt and around the e-receipt. Can you give us an overview about what is actually Re5 doing, and how can you help the retailers to sell more at the end?
Sure. So, as I was saying in the beginning, our goal is to help retailers make the in-store experience as personalized and data-driven as they can make the online experience. And the basis of making things, personalized is actually first even capturing that data, right? So step one, we solve that problem of the reality that, more than 80-90% of the customers that walk through your stores that purchase something leave anonymous. And, as I was saying earlier, our intention is always to try and do things in a way where there's value for the customer and there's no friction. So in the store, we do this via digital receipts, which means as a customer at the till, instead of a piece of paper, or instead of having to share your email address aloud to the cashier, all you do is you scan a QR code. Depending on where in the world you are, that QR code may lead you directly into WhatsApp, where it then sends you your receipt. It may lead you into a browser page where you can choose whether you want to get your receipt saved for the future via email or WhatsApp, or it might just give you an option to say, download this as a PDF. In addition to that, what's happening over there is already based on your purchase and based on what we've identified as your interests. The retailer is showing you offers, campaigns based on what they think would be relevant for you in order to drive you to either go to the online channel or come back to the same store. And so basically already at this step, just in giving the customer something they anyways would have taken, which is their receipt, we convert that into a digital touch point, into a, let's say, in-store cookie landing page, and capture the data about the customer. Who are they? What do they like? How often are they coming to my store? And open up a channel for future communication, ideally. Right. And in the background, we've created a profile of that customer that in the first step may be completely anonymous. And then in the second step, we're helping the merchant use tools like WhatsApp, like email, like SMS, like wallet passes to interact further with the customer in a very structured way, with the goal of earning the right to contact the customer further, with the goal of maybe gaining more insight into the customer. Maybe we want to get their email address. Maybe we want to get their phone number if we don't have it via WhatsApp yet. Maybe we want to get their date of birth. And always tying that to some value for the customer, right? So it could be an offer saying, hey, we've noticed, Darko, that you are a big fan of our pullovers. And here's a special 10% discount just for you on pullovers if you are going to share your birth date with us. We're going to use that in the future to send you birthday specific offers for you, right? So you're giving the customer value, you're earning the right, and you're doing all of this in a very seamless way thanks to our AI enabled backend that surfaces those opportunities for merchants and then prepares it in a way that they just have to say, yes, this is good for this audience, please send it out. So get the audience in, understand the behavior of the audience, and then use the plugins for all these different tools from WhatsApp through email, Wallet Pass, and so on to engage the customer going forward. And if you are already very sophisticated, you have a great personalized CRM setup, no problem. We stop at the data capture and put that data to you in your CRM or in your CDP, where you can use it in a way that makes sense for your business.
It sounds great. And maybe just to add on top, and I think it will be interesting for anybody who is listening in the moment, why we decided to cooperate with your company. There were actually two very important points which I think everybody should know, and this is something which I think it's a huge benefit of Re5. One is the innovation and creativity which is behind that, because you're always looking for the tools which are, and the apps and everything what is on the market existing, in order to create. The second point, this is the value. Whatever you are doing with value in mind. And this means not just to have the functionality to send something somewhere, but you are thinking what is the biggest value for the end user. And by that, then you are utilizing, let's say, the tools and the environments. That's what I like the most. And that's why we integrate it. And now for everybody who is listening, if you are using Fiscal Solutions middleware in any of our countries, you have already integration with Re5. You just needed to turn it on. And immediately you can send your receipts to WhatsApp. You can do even much more than just sending them to WhatsApp. Of course, it's a lot, but you can do that as well. And all other features which these guys have. No need for new integration, no need for new investments. Just switch it on and you are good to go. So that's why keep that in mind. Now we covered lots of interesting things, including the advertisement like Fiscalize and chill. I would like.
I need one of those t-shirts, Darko, for sure.
I will organize, no problem at all. So make it easy, make the life easy. That's the message. So let's say for the end of the discussion, let's wrap up a little bit. Let's imagine that you and me solved the WhatsApp integration, and the guys that are listening wants to have it. They think it's a great way to increase the sales. I want to use it. What's next? How to do it? What would be the next step for them?
Yeah. So the beauty of, at least, if I think of our platform, and then I add in the idea of what you mentioned, right? That we already have integration with the middleware you guys provide. For any merchant, for example, that's using Fiscal Solutions already, 90% of your work is already done, right? Like Darko said, you click a button, you activate Re5. With that, you already start being able to issue smart receipts via your POS without doing any further work. You're just placing a QR code next to them. Step two already then starts happening pretty much the day you go live, which is we start collecting that data through the digital receipts for those customers. And then step three, you go into our platform and you can basically set up your WhatsApp integration and basically start campaigning to your customers pretty much right then and there, right? So from end to end, you're looking at maybe 4 to 5 weeks to get everything ready and going. And just like that, you're a merchant who is in a position to not just understand your in-store customers, to capture data about their behavior, to get to know who they are, and to start targeting them in very smart, personalized ways without having to set up a whole new CRM, a whole new CDP, doing a lot of analytics, doing heavy integration work at the POS, and setting up a whole team to do all of this, right? So it sounds simple, it is simple, and the most important thing is designed, as Darko mentioned, keeping the user in mind, keeping the customer in mind, because if there's anything the last 10 years have shown us in retail, if the customer is happy, if the customer is getting value, the business will get the value back. And so our focus is on making it easy for the customer, making it easy for your IT, and making it easy for the marketing team to basically click the button, turn it on, and start generating more revenue for the business.
That sounds very, very easy, and it is actually easy, because two of us, we did already the job of integration and all of these things. But just to mention, if somebody is not using fiscal solutions in not fiscal countries or whatever countries, no problem at all, because the integration with the tool from Refi with the application was quite easy for us as well. Couple of weeks and we developed it, so it's not an issue, should not be a showstopper if you are not already integrated. But for everyone who wants to use something else and not Re5, it's of course also very easy to step in the world of WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is now offering, of course, API, but then you need a specific knowledge, of course, and you need the specific tools and all these kind of things which are required in order to develop something. So my recommendation would be always to use somebody who is doing that every day and for many different customers. Yeah, so I think this is smarter and the investment is small at the end. Mitul, tell me, do you want to share something else with our audience today? Do you have some last words?
I think I'm excited about the future of WhatsApp-based customer engagement. I personally, as a customer, enjoy getting things there. My promo inbox and email is mostly ignored. And I think maybe one topic that we didn't get a chance to dive into, but I think is worth thinking about, is as AI becomes the dominant sort of technology, people are getting more and more used to interacting with systems via text, right? So writing a quick message saying, can you do this for me? Can you give me that? What about this? Et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's going to even further expedite the adoption of this technology. I think people are going to want to be able to communicate in simple language with systems, and they want to do it in places where they're already communicating. So those who get onto it now, even if it feels scary, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels new in Europe, you have a first mover advantage for some very strong changes coming in the way humans interact with digital technologies. That's going to happen in the next 2-3 years insanely rapidly.
Do you expect that the Super app will come soon?
I think so. I think I personally believe that interfaces are going to start to disappear, and voice or text will become the primary interface for most people, because that's how we do communicate and do things on a daily basis, right? We've had to teach ourselves to use these interfaces with buttons and blah, blah, blah. But the human mind natively is designed to talk and write from a very young age. And I think AI has finally unlocked that to a level where I can actually write a prompt and get a functioning web application out of it. So if I can do that, I can definitely write a prompt and ask you to give me recommendations for clothes from your newest collection and get it, and expect, and that's the important word, expect to get something meaningful back, because customers will want that from you very quickly.
But imagine this situation. I saw this, I think yesterday or day before, the competition of ChatGPT, I think it's Claude or something like that, developed bot which you can use on your personal computer, on your machine at home, and it can move, let's say, mouse and click and control everything what is on your computer. And now imagine the situation: you are in the supermarket, you have to finish some kind of work because you didn't manage to do that, so you just send WhatsApp to Claude, please do that, and the guy is just finishing your job, and you are finishing your shopping just easy and enjoying the nice entertainment and atmosphere. So this is not the future anymore. It's happening now. It's already
right now.
Let's see what will happen and what's next. I'm a little bit afraid of that as well. So Mitul, thank you very much. It's always very exciting to talk to you, and I love it. So I'm sure you will join us for the third time as well. We will find a nice topic and then we will discuss about that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we can wrap that. If there are any questions, please comment, but I see people are impressed by, by our talk. They don't have questions, so that's good. People in space as well. So thank you, everyone. And I'm sure we will talk to each other and listen to each other very soon again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was a great pleasure as always.
Bye. Ciao.